This is how they lined up for the race, the first of the doubleheader in GT and GTS, and a great launch from the outside into the lead.
Wow, posting a different zip code by the time they get the apex. But then his teammate, you can see it there, Alex Figge, has something go awry down into the turn 1 area and backs it into the gravel trap and the tire wall.
Meanwhile, Popst able to hang on to the lead, but Mike Skeen in that Corvette was coming. That car, that driver, that team at this venue seems so strong here. And now let's take a look at our best standing start from Optima Batteries in this one. Nick Kasayan had a motor problem in qualifying at no time and immediately started making passes like this, Cal.
Yeah, he was flying. Very disappointed. They had to do that motor change. Couldn't get it done in time for qualifying. But meanwhile, at the front of the pack, Mike Skeen didn't take long to reassert himself at the front of this GT field.
Absolutely. After the yellow to get Figge out of the pack, he got around, and that was that. Meanwhile, the battling at GTS, furious. Look at this battle for third. Baldwin in the Hot Wheels came in, and Wilkins in the other Kia. And then a battle for third in the GT category, Cal, the two Cadillacs after it.
Down into turn 3, Johnny O almost opened the door for Andy there, made it really easy on him around the outside. I think Johnny O just trying to save those tires, but Wilkins was a man on a charge, the local boy from Toronto. Early days for his Kia career, but boy, he's making an impression as he moves up into the second spot. But look at Aaron Povolito wagging the tail on that Mustang into the brake zone.
And then this moment, Randy Pope's season goes from bad to worse. A fire, a popped oil line, and it ignited big time, and the damage was huge. The restart after that, Skeen, this time able to hang on over the two Cadillacs and immediately started to draw things out just a little bit. Meanwhile, Aschenbach getting into an absolute side-by-side battle with the very impressive Steve Ott.
This is a really high-speed section of the racetrack. Turn 8, Steve Ott. What a great drive by him.
And then Andy Pilgrim, a left front tire cut down, and he had to swing into the pits that changed the perspective of the GT battle up front. Galati not to be denied. But look at this battle again, side by side.
Side by side, Wilkins and Povolito, they go through the oil dry there, just create a dust storm behind them as they're fighting positions. Wilkins trying to make it a Kia 1-2.
And look who's behind them in his return to the championship, 2011 GTS champ. Paul Brown makes this move on Aaron Povolito down into turn 8. Both those Mustangs dancing, a great pass. Great to have Paul back, but up front, Mike Skeen gets his third straight win here at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park after sweeping the event last year, the doubleheader. And the Kias, not to be denied, Cal, a historic 1-2.
A photo finish for the Kia boys, their first victory in World Challenge, and they make it a 1-2 here in Canada.
Kathy Malik exits stage right, and we are ready to go racing for this 9th round of the GT and GTS Championship. Once again, when the lights go out, we go racing. Skeen on the inside, O'Connell along with him, but look at the move down to the inside by Alex Figge. Great launch, as always, in that all-wheel drive car, but Skeen trying to fight with him and stay, and we've got Aaron Povolito. Huge contact, big damage to the front of that car.
He was starting from the second row of the GTS grid. He tries to slide through the middle of the front row. Start is a great start for him, but he clips Michael Galati, gets turned into the left side wall.
Trying for the squeeze play. Let's see if we can see it. Oh, yeah.
Just not enough room there. Tried to thread the needle. It was just really tight between those two Kias. Have to wonder if Galati got damaged there on the right front corner.
And as you can see, Skeen was able to stay on the outside of Figge and retake that lead. Cleanup complete after that start line crash, and Mike Skeen leading him to the line. Alex Figge right there behind him. Then O'Connell, then Aschenbach, then Pilgrim, then Ott. And the rest of the field, here we go. Green flag flies. Figge thinks about it, but Skeen, too much entry speed, Cal. Look at the lead he's opened up already.
And I think that just comes down to confidence to be able to have that rolling start and head down into turn 1 and just not breathe the throttle as much as the rest of the field. Mike Skeen is hooked up, and if they can win here today, that'll be the 5th straight for that team, the 4th for Mike Skeen.
It's a remarkable run he's put together, to be sure. Look at the battling going on behind, though. Figge, then O'Connell, then Aschenbach, then Ott, then Pilgrim. Just that close. Aschenbach now takes a look. Tough to do the outside job here around turn 4 on O'Connell. Doesn't quite get it done, but letting O'Connell know he's there. Hopping on board with O'Connell.
Yeah, Madison was actually given the testing and setup duties on the Porsche. Oh, look at that, Johnny. Oh, what a move. Oh, boy, they call him Mr. Motorsport for a reason. What a move he put there on Alex Figge.
Figge just slightly loose. The back end stepped out, and that's all O'Connell needed. You know, we saw him do that in Detroit, too, on Aschenbach. He is one of the most opportunistic drivers. He just pounces with any opportunity. But in GTS, a quickly developing great package is the Kia package. And look at this. Wilkins leading Galati, a 1-2 for the team. And Galati looks like he may have gotten away with that contact with Povoleto as the two of them are easing away from the rest of the field, Cal.
Yeah, these guys were really looking forward to these high-speed straightaways here. We saw them so dominant at Miller, then we saw the confrontation in the final corner that cost them the win that day. Galati got the first Kia win yesterday, and Wilkins has just done a tremendous job here, starting from the pole and leading his teammate at this stage of the race. But they just love this cool condition here with these turbo-powered motors.
Let's look at some great battling that's unfolding. Back in the order a little bit, but still some superb stuff. That's Paul Brown. He's got Petey Cunningham glued to his rear bumper, the eBay Motors Mustang, and that real-time Acura HPD Acura TSX. Some great stuff.
It really is. These guys were battling for the lead and the win here last year. Petey Cunningham had the pole. Paul Brown got a victory here. Now you can see the depth of competition has just intensified this year in the GTS class. And there's some serious horsepower now for those Mustangs. They got a bigger restrictor for this weekend, and look how it works down that long Andretti straightaway.
And look at the run number 55 got. That is a superb launch by Rich Golinello as he gets around Paul Brown. He came around a couple of cars, got by PD and by Paul, and that was just a sweet run. Now, of course, Paul carrying a little bit of extra reward weight after a podium yesterday, but Golinello really hustling that.
Look at that. That was the O'Connell move there by PD down into turn 10. You can surprise someone if they're setting up the guy in front. As we see Skeen now coming through the pack.
Knife down underneath both Brown and Cunningham, and then Golinello looks in his mirror, sees him, floats right a little bit, lets him through. The question is, did Golinello get the door closed before? Yes, he did, before Petey could slide through. But another very opportunistic move by the all-time leader in virtually every category, including championships, with 6 in Pirelli World Challenge, 1 Peter Cunningham. Superb battle continues here at the Motul Canadian Tire Motorsports Park Grand Prix, presented by Optima Batteries. And as you can see, Alex Figge now has Steve Ott all over the back of him, who still has one Andy Pilgrim all over the back of him. This is now the battle for 4th as Aschenbach has opened up a little bit of a margin in 3rd.
Yeah, Aschenbach has got around Figge and now set sail after the championship leader, Johnny O'Connell. But Pilgrim there with that rewards weight, very similar to Johnny O, as he's struggling a little bit to really make any impression on Ott at the moment.
Giving it his all, of course, as always, but the story right now is that run up front that we've been watching, but this is the best battle on the track, so we're going to keep an eye on it here. And Figge, Ott, 3 different manufacturers, 3 completely different types of cars, drive lines, the whole thing, sports car wars. It's awesome. While we were in break, a change for the lead in GTS, Michael Galati getting the run on teammate Wilkins.
Yes, he does. The Kias looked awfully strong, and there you see Galati around the outside up the Andretti straightaway, so it's still a Kia 1-2, but a switch of positions.
And look who's right behind him, maybe force Galati's hand trying to make that move.
Well, the key is, does Galati have the pace now? Because Wilkins is back all over the rear bumper, and Jack Baldwin is on a charge, so they got to figure this out. Maybe Galati's car is a little wounded. Remember, he got that clip at the initial start here today from Aaron Povoleto, so Wilkins now alongside, he goes back to the front.
Boy, this is absolute back and forth action right now as those 2 Kias, and boy, look at the gap they open up on that straight over Baldwin's Hot Wheels Porsche at this point. Those Kias really, really good with that turbo power, and you talked about it earlier, that cool air, Cal.
Absolutely. This is ideal scenario for these Kias here today. A nice cool day. Those turbocharged motors are really working well, as we could see up that long straightaway. Jack comes back at them, though, through the twisty stuff.
And Jack in the midst of a points battle down to the inside. Beautiful move. Gets around Galati.
He's right in the mix here. He's going to be on the podium. He's second at the moment. Can he chase down the leader right now? That's O'Connell. Left front is down, or some damage.
Now, it looks like maybe just another cut tire. Interestingly, Pilgrim had this in the race yesterday in the previous round of the championship. So interesting developments here. And, of course, Johnny just trying to limp it in. And this is going to be huge, huge in terms of points, Cal. Huge development, as we just talked about, in terms of the points with O'Connell and problems and Aschenbach coming. And this battle, some great racing. Figge still trying to keep Ott behind him and managing to do so thus far.
He's doing a great job. When I were on board with him through that turn turn 9, 10 area. Great section of the racetrack, great rhythm here, but we can't see it, but there's going to be a big smile on the face of Lawson Oschenbach right now. He's up to second, and the guy he's chasing in this championship is having to have a tire changed and losing points as we speak.
That's a very good thing to mention. Mike Skeen, although he's having a dominant weekend here, is not really a player in the points. So this is almost as good as a win for Oschenbach at this stage if he can hang on. And back to Figge real quick. Remember, he made his debut here last year in the Volvo.
And let's not forget, this is the only Volvo in the race here today. We saw Randy Pope's fire in the first of the 2 races here this weekend. That meant they were unable to start here today. He was in the thick of this championship going into Detroit. Now he's had just a disastrous couple of weekends.
Just has collapsed on him. Let's go back and take a look at Mike Skeen as he's working his way through some thick GTS traffic. That's the nice thing about having a big lead, is you could be a little bit patient, not rush it, not push it, not get yourself in trouble. And that's exactly how he's playing it. Lays back a little bit, gasses it right here. Cal picks up the white flag.
Yeah, he's just got to be so careful and be patient. He's got a beautiful lead, just dominated here this weekend. 2 poles and has just set sail in both races.
Yeah, he absolutely, in that first race, he was the first driver ever in World Challenge history here to get underneath 1:19. He loves this place.
That is flying around this racetrack. It really is. I remember going back 25 years ago, that was a great Formula Atlantic time, let alone a time for one of these World Challenge cars.
Pretty remarkable stuff. Having a good look right there. The best IT Camaro of Lee coming in here, a serious player in the points. Struggling just a little bit here this weekend in terms of raw pace, but a lot of rewards weight. And one thing, these pony cars, the Mustangs and Camaros, they seem to really change up the handling when they get that weight, more maybe than other cars.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's all about balance. I mean, and this is just a fun racetrack. There's some slow corners certainly, but it's all about these high-speed straightaways, these long-flowing corners, and weight will certainly have an effect.
And for Mike Skeen, one last time over the little rise that they shaved at the end of the Mario Andretti straightaway a number of years ago, into that wicked quick turn 8, into turn 9 on the brakes just briefly, little bit of throttle here into turn 10, and he is coming up. 4th straight win for Mike Skeen off of his 4th straight pole here at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. 5th for the team when you count Fellows' win in 2010. Just a remarkable few years for this team. Oh, late in the going, some big moments here. One of the Porsches is off. Looks like Fred Roberts off in the Direct Energy Viper, and that's Madison Snow off to the right.
Yeah, it looks like Fred may have gotten into the wall there on the inside, but here we see a battle for that final spot on the podium here today in GTS. Woo! Here comes Udell around Andy Lee, who's the championship leader. This is points on the table. Meanwhile, Wilkins continues to lead and has stretched it over Jack Baldwin.
Yeah, his teammate Galati has dropped back. You have to wonder if it's something related to the damage from the Paleto crash, finally coming home to roost. But Wilkins onto the front straight, looking to hand the Kia Optima its 2nd consecutive win here in Canada, and does a beautiful job. And Galati dropping off just a little bit, but Wilkins ready there to pick it up after putting it on pole. Congratulations to Mike Skeen and to Mark Wilkins. We'll see you next time from Mid-Ohio.